sure, put them in the chat. You can reach out to us privately on the screen here. There's a Q&A function as well. Whichever way you want to roll. We love it when things are interactive. And so I'm going to hop right in here. So IFA strategy with IA Financial. Why should you look at us? The first one is our actual product and the design of our par wealth. If you haven't had the chance to run an illustration yet with our par wealth, I would highly encourage you to have a look at that. The first thing our par wealth does that works well and fits well with the IFA market, it has the best short-term surrender values in the first 10 years. That's important when you're dealing with the IFA because it will result in less collateral requirements. In fact, with one of the lenders that I'm aware of in the market, our par wealth contract can do an IFA without any collateral requirements at all. And so it's a very strong product fit for that very reason. In fact, it's a reason we win a lot of business in that market is due to the strong early cash use, specifically the first 10 years. Number two, we have the fastest break-even point in the industry. What that means is the premium paid is equal to the cash value faster. We see any up until year 7. The only place where that crossover is not as early, 13, but it's about 70 to 80% all the way through. It just doesn't cross over till that 13th year. Now, why that's important is this is a number that the banks and the lenders really like to see. So that's important with an IFA to have a contract that banks and lenders like. We have but why does it say for 10 years CSV? Amazing question. Thank you for reaching out. Best short-term value on the illustration for the first 10 years. And so illustrations are forward-looking, not backward-looking. And so that's why we're able to illustrate 10 years out. It'd be the same with any other carrier's illustration. They're not showing back testing. They're showing a forward-looking illustration based on current dividend scale. So if you our illustration compared to other carriers will be higher with IA Financial. I really hope that answers your question. Perfect. Awesome. And it actually leads to my next point. We have a competitive death benefit at life expectancy. I'll give you full transparency here. Our death benefit at life expectancy with our par wealth is not the market leader. This is the trade-off you make when you look at a wealth product versus an estate product. If your main focus is a death benefit at life expectancy, I would suggest that estate par would be a better fit. In general, we hear from agents that for IFA, the most important factor is early cash value. And the death benefit is competitive. It's usually on an internal rate of return basis, less than 0.5%. We see illustrations where it's very close. That'd be comparing our wealth to our estate. But the other factor here is our dividend scale is 5.75, which is not the highest dividend scale in the industry. We recognize that, but still competitive even with that in mind. And if you see commentary, public commentary, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about other companies because I don't, there's commentary in general that there's pressure on dividend scales. Our par fund management team is extremely confident in the 575, and they're telling us that pressure is not there. There's reasons for that, which I won't go into total detail on today. But if you have questions on our par fund strategy, reach out to Rishu. I believe we've done a presentation to your group before. We have a really unique par fund, and this is where being a new fund is actually an advantage, especially in the current market environment. It's a huge advantage for us going forward. So summary there is we're very confident in the 575. At the same time, and this is a huge driver on the IFA side for me personally. This is one of the main things I love about our PAR contract. It's that we're least sensitive to alternative scenarios. What does that mean? We're not talking about feelings here with sensitivity. We're talking about alternate scenarios. So if you run our software at current dividend scale at -1 or -2, the impact isn't as big as it is on other carriers. And so that's important because with an IFA strategy, some lenders actually require that you run it at -1 or -2. I'd also recommend that you look at running it at -1 in order to manage some expectations on the client side. It's better to miss low in your projections than it is to miss high. And so what our summary is there is that our IFA strategy works well because we have the long-term sustainability of our dividend in mind, and it's competitive. We have the fastest break-even point, the best cash values in early years. We run alternative scenarios, we actually still look great. And you will see that if you run our software and look at it, it's a fantastic fit for the IFA market. So we know now that the product is there, but that doesn't matter if process wasn't good. And I won't spend a ton of time working on process, but I will tell you that our process at IA is one of the best in the industry in terms of getting an application through. Do some things a little bit differently. Number one, we have a fully electronic process from start to finish with the opportunity for a decision on the point of sale for clients 50 and under and up to 2 million in face amount. It's 52% acceptance rate at point of sale. That's fantastic. That means every second app you do has the potential to be approved right at the point of sale. I had an advisor in the prairies at a large IFA case. It was a $50,000 premium, and he got approved at the point of sale. It was on his commission statement the next week. In terms of turnaround times, fully electronic contract, fully electronic signature, best electronic platform, as Rishu mentioned. Surveyed advisors have said we're number one for digital tools. A large part of that is Evo, and just because it is a big premium, you lose access to Evo. You can use our e-app up to 10 million in face amount. Just a fantastic process, and that's a huge part of it. When you do the work to get the client to agreeing to do these IFAs, it's frustrating when the application process adds a layer of friction, and it's frustrating for the client. And so Evo is a very important factor in our offering to clients. The second one, and this is huge, this is a fantastic offer. Any case above $5,000 at IA, we give you your own underwriter. You can communicate with them directly, which is amazing. When your policies get issued, they come in a beautiful leather portfolio. It looks extremely professional. I think the biggest factor here, though, and this is important, and just how underwriting works. I can't speak to other carriers, although I do think this is industry standard. So when an underwriter is reviewing a file, in general, they don't look at the file until all requirements are in and in good order. That means if your client needed an APS or a paramedical or any other types of requirements, an underwriter doesn't even look at the file until absolutely everything's in. On the VIP side, absolutely every requirement is reviewed within 24 hours of being received. That's an unbelievable offer for your clients. So you'll get your own underwriter, you'll get 24-hour turnaround times. The other thing that's not on the screen here that is, if your client does get an APS, we actually pay a higher fee, and we find that it's not perfect. APSs really do slow down the process, but it does speed it up. It's funny when you increase the fee. There's something going on there, but it does work. So just keep that in mind for your large cases, that it's in safe hands. The underwriters are going to look at it, and it's going to be your own underwriter that you as the advisor can actually talk to, which is very unique. Large case support. Our motto at IA right now is we want to be your one-stop shop for all things large case. That might mean underwriting, that might mean financial support, and financial support meaning help with financial underwriting. That might mean working with your existing directors behind the scenes. We've had situations where we've actually worked in the client meeting or met with the client's accountant or referred our accountant to their client's accountant. Just know that we're there for you from start to finish with any of your large cases. Very strong offering to help you out. So what's new on large case? If you're going to make any notes today, if anyone out there is making notes on the call, I'd suggest getting a pen and paper out, jotting down this website, although I'm sure it'll be in the email summary. Leah, being the rock star she is, has probably already put the link in. Large Case Solutions website is new. It's up and running. This website is amazing. It has access to different strategies and concepts, underwriting guidelines. This has actually been a hit with our advisors. We give you a cover letter checklist, what you should include, what you don't need to include, implementation guide for the IFA. Just stay tuned on that one, and more coming soon. So keep an eye on this webpage. It's a website that actually gives you an overview of our large case offering. As part of today's presentation, I'm going to share some new tools that we have, but we have custom client material for IFAs, insured retirements, life insurance as an asset class. These are available by special requests. So if you need, please reach out to Rishu or Venora on the living benefits side. They'll get in touch with me to run them for you. So they're not in the software. If you're looking in the software, they're not there. They're available by special requests. I'm going to share some of them with you today. Again, the feedback has been outstanding from advisors using these with clients, using these with accountants. We want to give you the tools to support you and generate business for you. So keep that in mind on the large case side if any of those other concepts stand out to you. We also have, and Rishu touched on this, but I want to hammer this point home. Pierre Lafontaine not only is one of the brightest human beings that I've ever met, he's also incredibly personable. And so please know that when you have a large case where we need that added layer of support, Pierre is there. We have a tax advisor on our team as well. And Pierre Philippe is our tax lawyer. He's been around at IA for a long time. Just knowing that this section is the one that I feel sets us apart in the market. So we've got the product, we've got the process, we've got the support from specialists when you need them, and that's important. But could we help you with that last objection of head office marketing material? So our team actually went a different direction than to produce mass marketing material on the IFA strategy or any strategy in general. Marketing pieces are important, but I find that they're more behind with the client and hope that they read them. They generally don't actually drive business. They just help you in your meeting a little bit. We've gone a completely different way. And I've put an infographic up on the screen here. This is the same guy. And just the difference between custom and generic or off-the-rack illustrations. We can give you custom client presentations like this on the right here. He's wearing, a custom suit. You can tell he, it looks a lot more confident. It fits him better. He's not going to fit into a regular off-the-rack everyday suit. Sure, it'll do the trick, but you can tell, on the right is just a better fit, no pun intended. And so our first tool that we have that we're so pumped about is our plan compare tool. This is new to IA. It's probably 3 or 4 weeks old. We're able to get up to 6 illustrations all in one easy to read PDF. So when you want to run multiple quotes, we can actually compare them, and you can see it's comparing the cash values. It's comparing the death benefit. It's comparing the internal rate of return. We can custom label each of the options, and we can put up to 6 different options all in the same report. When you look at the report, it also spits out these bar graphs, which are fantastic. I always love this one because it's comparing basically every one of our permanent options. I love how close they all are. A couple outliers, of course, but very close values. And then we also have the death benefit comparing each and every option. Purpose of this graph is not to go through each option. It's just to show you what it would look like if you compared 6 different options. I see that going a lot better for you than 6 different full illustrations for a client. And here's a sample here, right? We've got 6 different options, all the cash values shown in one place, internal rate of return on all of them, death benefit at year 20, 30, 40, early cash values, details of funding, total deposits. A great option, making your life easier as an advisor. Now you need to go in with 1 illustration, not 6. And that's a much easier process for your client. IFA illustrations. So we do have those off-the-rack regular IFA illustrations. I'm told ours are quite good compared to what's in the market. Something that separates us in the market here is we actually run these at the local level. So I actually have the ability to run. I'm told our turnaround time is quite good. We're usually looking 24 to 48 hours. But what's a little unique about our team is that we have someone at the field level that can run IFA quotes. They don't actually have to go to our head office each and every time. What that means is if you have one that's incredibly urgent, Rishu can call me and yell at me and tell me to do it faster. In all seriousness, it means that we're able to turn them around faster and work with you and be a little more collaborative. A big frustration on IFA quotes at the field level is just the back and forth, because now we're working with you on the case and presenting it for you back. We also offer a customized client presentation. This is more of that custom tailored fit that I talked about. First of all, look how amazing this front page is. It's actually labeled with the client's name. So it says client name here. You would actually put, if you're presenting to me, that would say Ross Cook, or we could put whatever label on it you want. Presented by your name. I've just put City Star Agent, but you as the advisor. And just watch how much better this compares to that. The word actually a walkthrough of how the IFA works, step by step by step. Again, fully custom. This slide doesn't include any numbers, but it's part of the overall presentation. But then we work through the IFA, and it actually includes all the values. These are custom values ripped from a custom illustration that I put together for your group. Awesome process. It's going through step by step, showing the actual values, showing like the alternative investments. It's going to show the loan interest payments or the refinancing of the interest. It's also showing the applicable tax deductions and the cumulative value of that, the overall cash flow, and it's also showing the death benefit flow through. And the last, it's showing the net estate value, including the tax savings on the unused portion of the capital dividend account, for example. But just know that this isn't a head office marketing piece. This is custom for you to use in your meetings. I strongly, that's a lot more of a value add for an advisor than a mass marketed marketing material piece. We do have some additional support as well. In addition for IFAs, we have a fillable PDF. Now, normally, it's kind of hard to get excited about a fillable PDF, am I right? But this is going to save you time. It's going to save you time because it's going to ensure that the illustration you get back matches what you want. If you could send your illustration and fill out this fillable PDF with your illustration, it'll make sure that the illustration from the IFA side comes back. There's a lot of information you need to run a proper IFA quote. If you don't provide that information, we use assumptions, and sometimes our assumptions don't match the advisors, and so inevitably is a back and forth. If we can save that time for you, we want to help. And also it can help as an advisor. And even on my end as a large case director, it really helps me get organized with what information I need to ask the client for and what assumptions I'm using. And so keep that in mind. There is buttons here that say, hey, if you don't know an answer, you can just click system default with something like the tax rate. Maybe you don't know their corporate tax rate off the top of your head. Well, if you click system default, we'll figure it out for you, and talk about the different type of loan advances. Everything you need for an IFA quote is on this simple one-page document. I'd highly encourage you to use it. And I'll be honest, it's not for us. We can run the IFA for you without these documents. It's just going to make sure we give you back what you want. And we'll make sure everyone on the call gets a copy of this fillable PDF, one pager, really user-friendly, almost as easy as using like Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats, but it's for IFA quotes. And it'll ensure we get you back a quote faster and with proper information. The other thing that we have, and we will get this out to the call, everyone on the call, is an actual IFA head office branded marketing piece with a step-by-step guide to doing an IFA. This is not custom, which, you know what, maybe you're meeting a client and you don't know what they want yet in terms of funding and setup, but you want them to know about the idea of the IFA. I see this piece working really well for any centers of influence, like an accountant group or a lawyer group that you work with. Just showing them this, I know this is a prominent strategy in the market right now. I've got a marketing piece I want to share with you. Make sure you knew what was going on. Call me if you have questions or clients you think could be a fit. It's nice to know that material is there. Again, everyone on the call will get a copy of this guide. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I believe it's about 8 pages, really well written, extremely good document. And again, to recap on the large case side, we offer custom client presentations like the one I just showed you for life insurance as an asset class. It's my favorite of all of them in terms of the way that the presentation works and flows and illustrates. Insured retirement strategies, corporate or individual. We also have a presentation that is life insurance as an asset class with an insured retirement on the back end of it. Great presentation. IFAs, of course, custom client presentation available. We also offer shared ownership CI, and the plan compare tool is available when you want to compare up to 6 different options all in one document. This is a strong offering on the large case side. We're here to support you. So to recap the session, and I think I've finished a couple minutes early here, but I thought Rishu might want to jump back on, or Venora could get started early. The first objection that I brought to the table in the IFA market that we hear from advisors, again, not specific to IA, but just in general, it's very frustrating that you need a special illustration from head office. Hey, I hear you. I feel your pain. It's not in the software, but know that when you deal with IA, we're going to get it back to you in fast manner, and it's done at the local level compared to at the head office level. This can be a difference maker compared to some other strategies out there with other carriers. The only company that does IFAs. We are one of the only companies that I'm aware of that has someone at the field level. The second objection that we hear is that head office isn't giving any tools for me to help this strategy. IAs flip this idea on its head. Not only do we have marketing material that's IA branded on IFA, we'll share that with you. It's a fantastic piece. It's generic. It's just meant to be kind of mass marketed. We also offer you custom client tools, custom client presentations to help you position this strategy better. And the last thing up here, and I think this is actually one of the objections that's the fairest, is it's tough to present 5 or 6 different options to a client. Well, I just shared with you the new tool we have that can help there. Let us help you. Let us get these objections out of the way for you so you can focus on what you do best, and that's finding new clients and presenting this strategy to them and closing business. Let us take care of everything else for you, and we're happy to do that. Like I said when I started, we want to be your one-stop shop for all things large case. And with that, I'll pause for questions and say thank you all very much. I appreciate the questions along the way. And I'll hang out here for a minute and see if there's any more questions that Three questions that normally come up right away. Is there CE credits? Yes. Will we get a copy of the presentation? Yes. Will we get a copy of the IFA fillable PDF? Yes. Everything in this presentation today will be shared with you. Thanks, guys. If there's any other questions, I am so happy to help. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ross. And I honestly, that's trying to make your life as an advisor simple. I think there's so much going on when you're talking to a client. You know, you're trying to put together proposals. You're really trying to see which carrier can step up to the pace. And IA is really that carrier that wants to make your life super easy when it comes down with us. So Ross went through a couple different strategies, a couple different options in terms of how to take a look at an IA, specifically with IA, and how we can really make your life a lot. I'm switching up the presentations just to do a quick 10, 15 minute little, an additional highlight to Ross is why IA. If there's any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves, please, and ask those questions, and we'll be able to address them right now. Perfect. There's just something on the chat about a kid. I will call you after that. No problem. Alrighty. Okay. If there are no questions, and again, guys, if you want to ask later, you want to call myself or Leah, and then let us know. We're happy to chat as well too. And then what we can do is we can always get Ross involved in any further conversations. Perfect. Now what I want to do is really add to the conversation that Ross had in terms of YIA when it comes down to taking a look at your IFA strategies and really position in terms of doing business with IA as your easy, simple. So I just want to make sure you can see screen. B or anybody else want to just give me a quick thumbs up so I have an idea.
Yes, I see.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick 10 minutes and pass it over to you, V, in terms of doing business with IA. Now, one thing is when it comes down to IA, we're probably the most liberal when it comes down to the immigrant guidelines and underwriting immigrant clients for IA and for, again, any permanent contracts on our shelf. You know, there's a large wealth transfer taking place right now. And a lot of it really happens to be immigrant families transitioning to Canada and bringing that asset in. So IA has really recognized that, and we want to do